Pilsen Pod.
Hey guys, so welcome back. Vlogging again. My name is Javier here with Pilsen Pod, longtime resident of Pilsen. Alex Acevedo, my co-host, he's moved to Hawaii, and so for the foreseeable future, he won't be part of the podcast. But we wish him the best of luck up there in Hawaii. Wish him and his family the best, and aloha. So let's get started. The first subject is the Landmark District. Some of you know what it is, some of you don't know what it is. So let me kind of give everybody a little bit of a background. Back in 2018, then Alderman Danny Solis, his solution for stopping gentrification or slowing down gentrification was the Landmark District. For folks that don't know what a Landmark District is, it basically means that if for the area that is marked as landmark, you will have to pay almost three to four times more than anybody else outside of the Landmark District if you want to do any changes. That's basically what the Landmark District does. It actually speeds up gentrification. It does not slow it down. Now, one of the key components that I think is very important in the Landmark District is no demolition. So currently our current Alderman, Byron Cintra Lopez, he is trying to put a substitute ordinance to Danny Solis's Landmark District, basically swapping it out and saying you can't demolition any homes within the designated area, which I think is great, right? It puts an end to demolitions. I forgot one thing though. The Landmark District does not include St. Adalbert's. So a lot of you know St. Adalbert's is one of Pilsen's most cherished buildings, churches, and it does not include it. So I think that should bring to question as well is if the city's trying to stop gentrification and is trying to save our buildings, why isn't St. Adalbert's in the Landmark District? Been sitting in committee for almost a year. The alderman did have some meetings with the community. I went to one of them. It was in the one I went to. I think it was in June of last year, right after he won and he was in office. He had a community meeting about the Landmark District. The planning also came out to Pilsen and found out from the community that hey, they don't want it. They don't want the Landmark District. So that's been the struggle now. The Landmark District has been stuck in committee for a while now. The last time it was brought up was in July of this year. And what happened during that meeting was there was no vote. There was no movement that was done by the committee members. So what they decided to do was to give it 6 more months so there could be more input from the community, and then it would be brought up to a vote. I mean, that's what was discussed during the last Landmark meeting in July. If there's no movement done in committee by January of 2021, this ordinance becomes law. Now, everything that I talked about earlier would basically become law, and it would be extremely hard again for folks to be making changes to their buildings. You have seniors maybe that are living in mixed and fixed incomes that would have to deal with this Landmark District, because what would happen? These folks would have no choice but to sell their home, and who's going to be there to buy it? Developers. So what do developers do? So developers actually like old buildings. They like to gut them out and turn them into condos, and bring in and charge rents of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in our neighborhoods and streets like down 18th Street by Harrison Park. I mean, that's always been an affordable area. It's really hard now to live by anywhere literally in Pilsen. The rents are starting to skyrocket now, going up west now. So the Pilsen that I grew up in had families, had camaraderie. Everything that people see, that they read in magazines and Forbes magazines about how our neighborhood is a top 10 neighborhood. Well, it became a top 10 neighborhood because of the families that lived here. We invested in our communities when nobody else wanted to. When everybody looked at our neighborhood and said, oh no, it's ghetto. Oh no, there's shootings. Oh no, you can't walk down 18th Street, which is true. I mean, shit, I couldn't, growing up here in Pilsen, it was hard. My mom would let me walk down 18th Street. You get shot, right? And there's always gangs and everything. And so, but people say, well, now that there's new residents here, that's why it's nicer. Well, that's not fair, because we didn't have the investments that the new residents are coming here now to live, what they had in their neighborhoods. They had, really nice schools. They had tutors. They had after-school programs. They had, usually one parent would be home with them while the other parent worked. Most of us here, both of our parents worked, or we had single mothers that raised us, and they were working, 10, 12 hours a day. So where would we go? The streets was the only place to be at, because the schools were closed, or there was no programs for us. But the one thing that happened in Pilsen was our neighbors and our friends became our family. That's what my family was my neighbor. When I would come home from school, that's who I would hang out with. That's who I would have dinner with when my mother was working. So it's it's just a life of how it is growing up in this neighborhood. And even things have calmed down a little bit from back in the 80s and 90s. I don't think it's fair now that there was nobody wanted to invest in us back then. There's all this investments, and they're still trying to figure out a way to get us out of here. So going back to the Landmark District, we need to do everything we can to stop it. It's going to be brought up on committee December the 3rd. We need all the aldermen in this committee to vote it down. It's great that it's going to be up in committee, but you don't want it to pass. So that's where we're at right now with this Landmark District. I know a lot of people have been asking me, so hopefully this sheds a little light into what's going on and what we need to do to stop it. All right, guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is Election Day. So Election Day is coming. It's November 3rd. It's the most important election in our lifetime, and now we've been dealing with this, pendejo for the last 3.5, well, more than 3.5 years. So we can't let this happen again. So of course we need to Biden-Harris to win. Now there's been a big division, especially here in Pilsen, about Pilsen's become very progressive. Which is good. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I consider myself progressive as well. Understanding that we're all in the same boat. A lot of us people supported Bernie. I voted for Bernie. I wanted Bernie. I think Bernie would have been a great president, and he's on the mark, and he was on the mark in a lot of things, and but he didn't win. So a lot of the things I read in social media, on my feed is, well, that's your candidate. A lot of folks that consider themselves democratic socialist, they it's kind of like, well, we're out of this, or trying to get across to folks is, it's not about democratic socialism. It's not about being a Democrat. It's just about getting this man out of office. As most of us have seen, we saw what happened with the Supreme Court. We got treated not good. We're down 6-3 when there's a conservative majority in the Supreme Court. She's young. She's going to be there for a while. So there's consequences. Elections have consequences. A lot of people need to understand that. I'm not thrilled with our current Democratic Party either. There's a lot of issues with it. They have not represented working class people the way that they should, the way that they promised us during Election Day. I'm with you 100%. I questioned a lot too. I questioned a lot where donations were going. I questioned a lot. There was a, it was fun. It was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine, and there's a lot of people that are there to influence your thoughts. they use your struggles, they use a lot of what you've been through to get their thoughts into your mind, and then you start believing what they want you to believe. It's kind of like the Matrix. You take a blue pill, you got the blue pill, the red pill. Now if you take the blue pill, you might be woke. Now if you're woke and you start asking too much, then you might get, you know, you might get put to the side a little bit. So I get it, you know, and there's a lot of people that are considered to be, you know, woke now. So, but you also have to rationalize. You also have to bring it back a little bit. You have to go back to the drawing board and just say, hey, right now in this America that we have right now, even if we tear shit down and revolt, you know, we don't have the courts behind us. We don't have, if we don't flip the Senate, if we don't take 45 out, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be worse than it was before. And not only that, I mean, we're dealing with COVID. So, and I'll talk about COVID later. But, you know, right now, we need to restore some of the America that actually gave us the freedom to revolt. You know, we were in a different country, or a country where government won't let you speak your mind because you might get killed. We're pretty lucky that we have those opportunities and those liberties here in this country. So let's fight to bring back some of that America that gave us those liberties so that we could fight back and make that change that we all want. But without our democracy intact, we won't have a chance, because you can't get what you're fighting for if we have 45 back in office again. So think about it that way. That's all I try to say when I when I comment on social media and I try to express my point is, I'm with you, I get it, but the way the platform is formed right now, the way things are right now, we won't be able to get what we want because we don't have a real democracy here in the United States. Remember why, for those who are undocumented, remember why your parents wanted to come here. Because in their native country, opportunity was not there. You know, a little bit about me. So my family. So, you know, my mother came to the United States in 1978. She fell in love with my father. He was actually an aspiring cosmetologist when he was in Mexico. So he met my mother in Mexico, but he was from Chicago. He went down there, he met her, and they fell in love, and they both came up together. He was murdered in 1981 in the streets of Chicago, and you could imagine, you know, my mother was still fairly new in this country. They didn't have no family here, couldn't speak the language, but she decided to stay here because she felt that this is the only place where I could have a chance to succeed. And actually my uncle came from Mexico, drove all the way up here to Chicago, and told her, "Andale, vámonos, let's go." And she said, "No, I can't. If I leave, my son won't have a chance to have any success in Mexico." So when we diss this country so much, I feel like we're dissing also the struggles and the sacrifices that people from other countries that came here for opportunity, I feel like we're dissing them. People that died in the border trying to get here. So when we talk shit about this country, we're telling those folks that died, or those people that sacrificed to get here, that your sacrifice was in vain. Let's make sure that we get our democracy back. We get a real president in office. And we fight for that change that we all want. So, all right, guys. So this last subject I want to talk about is COVID-19. That's been, it's been devastating. It's been hurting our families, hurting our communities. It's been just completely devastating for us and for everybody here. I just had COVID and my mother had COVID. She was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. It hit me pretty hard too, and I don't wish it on anybody. So we're recovered now, we're good, but yeah, COVID is just destroying us. As many of you know, the city of Chicago got orders now from the state that there's no more indoor dining, at least for the foreseeable future, and that's going to be completely devastating to our restaurants and to our folks that work in the restaurant, folks that work in the restaurant, working class folks. A lot of those people, of course, live in our communities, live in Black and brown communities, live here in Pilsen, and it's going to be very devastating. But what do we do? It's the positivity rates are just skyrocketing. I just got this report today, and I'm going to give you guys some numbers of just how bad it is here in the city of Chicago. So for our zip code 60608, that covers Pilsen, Douglas Park, Chinatown, Marshall Square, McKinley Park, and Bridgeport. 14.4% positivity rate. That is bad. At least over the summer we were under 5%. It's been ridiculously high now, and I'm gonna give you another zip code. The north side of Humboldt Park. We have Humboldt Park West, Humboldt Park North, and Austin. 15.2% positivity rate. And people have also passed away in that, and recently within the last 2 weeks in that zip code. Let me give you another one, 60609, that covers New City, Back of the Yard, South Loop, and Fuller Park. 17.1% positivity rate. And it also, people passed away in that zip code. I'm gonna give you one of the highest ones it is right now, 60632. Folks, they're at 22.6% positivity rate. That covers Brighton Park, Archer Heights, West Elton, and Gage Park. It's a predominantly Latino Mexican community, and it has the highest in the city. So I'm gonna give you guys one more. 20.3% is 60623. That's North Lawndale and Little Village. So those are our communities. Those are Mexican communities that are being just devastated with COVID. It's bad, guys. We have to do everything we can to protect our families. I know this is hard, but look at it this way. If we don't do everything we can to stop this and to flatten the curve of these positivity rates, our loved ones may not be with us by Christmas. Here comes the holidays. A lot of folks want to get together for Thanksgiving. You could die within 2 or 3 weeks after exhibiting symptoms. So you don't want to do that to your family. You don't want to bury your loved ones. Like I said, this is a very, very difficult time for a lot of us. Now that a lot of these restaurants have to stop indoor dining, if we can, whoever can, support your local restaurants. Order out as much as you can. They're gonna need our help. My favorite restaurant here in the neighborhood is Tayahuac. It's on 24th at Western. I enjoy also Ignatz here in the heart of Chicago. Bacanalias. I'm gonna order out and continue to order out, because as long as I have a job and I could at least help them out a little bit by ordering, then I'm gonna do that. So I want to challenge all of you, if you can, of course, right? It's a tough time for all of us, but if you can, order out, support these small businesses, because they may not be here by the end of the winter, and it's gonna be a damn shame. But also the state gotta come up. The state and the city gotta give as many grants as possible to these businesses. The business interruption grant, I think, is up to $266 million or so. You'll correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it's there. So please go online and to the state of Illinois and apply for these grants if you are a business that is hurting because of COVID. So we got to do everything we can to support each other. And like I said, support your small businesses, support your local restaurants, order out. Let's be there for one another, and let's get through the winter, and let's do everything we can to get by. So, but as I had read these positivity rates, it's bad right now, guys. I just actually got I went to go get another COVID test today at Core on Maria Salcedo, and the lines were huge. I mean, I was there for about 3 hours waiting, and that's one of the zip codes that I had read out that have a 20% positivity rate. So, I'm glad that people are going out to get tested, but if you are positive, stay home, quarantine, obviously. It's more than 14 days, guys. You have to at least quarantine for 20, even if you don't have symptoms. A friend of mine who was positive, she didn't have any symptoms, but she was positive for almost 20 days. So she took 2 COVID tests afterwards, and they came out positive. So that virus will live inside of you for a while, and even if you're not experiencing symptoms, you are still shedding live virus. So just again, wear your mask, and we got to stop the spread. Hey guys, so there's one more thing that I didn't get a chance to talk about earlier, and that is the fair tax amendment that is on this year's ballot. So for some of you that don't know what it is, it's basically an amendment to the Illinois Constitution that'll change our tax bracket from tax percentage from 4.95% to gradually increase up to 7.95%. And the only way you reach that 7.95% is if you're making, if you're a single individual making over $250,000 a year. So this is a way for the 3% of Illinoisans to pay their fit that make substantially more than everybody else, basically, to pay their fair share. So this is it's a fair tax. There have been some questions about it, and I found this really cool article on AskMe, AskMe31.org. The fair tax was combined with the 5 for 15. I remember when we used to go out and help organize some of these restaurants to try to get the fast food industry to pay their fair share and to pay a living wage. So I remember a few McDonald's and a few restaurants in downtown, workers walked out, and that's what basically started the movement when it came to the 5 for 15, but also the fair tax. So back to some of the questions and facts about the fair tax. So some folks been worried about taxing their retirement funds. So this amendment will not change anything when it comes to your pensions or your retirement funds. 401ks, IRAs, pensions, Social Securities will not get taxed by this amendment. So that's a fact. So other states and the federal government have already a fair tax system, including Wisconsin, Iowa, and Missouri. So we are kind of behind these other states, and we should actually been leading this. So we're actually just catching up to other states that are already doing this. And again, it's a fair tax. What I wanted to do right now, the state of Illinois needs everything they can when it comes to increasing revenue, and why not have those that are the 3% that is well off shoulder some of that burden instead of the working class. One thing I want to add before I let you guys go is I'm going to be doing a giveaway of 5 videos that are going to be fully edited and used for small businesses to promote their business, especially right now during COVID. So I would like for folks that are listening to this podcast to please on the comments or message us, inbox us, and let me know where should we go assist these businesses. Which businesses do you want me to go help? I'm going to be doing 5 videos, so it's 5 different businesses, but I would like to know from you guys, where should I go? I'm going to do everything I can to in my power to try to assist and give back to my community. So again, these are 5 free videos. Please comment below, let me know who I should help, and then I'll keep everybody guys posted with who you guys pick. So again, now these businesses have to, I want them to be in Pilsen. This is Pilsen Pod. So, but yeah, all right, guys. So please comment below and let me know.
Pilsen Pod.